morning. It is Monday morning and I'm just going to check in here. Today is day 1 on the 7-day low sugar challenge where we keep our added sugars to 25 or less grams per day. So that being said, how many of you guys woke up this morning going, oh my goodness, what do I eat? What am I putting in my coffee? And you're checking those sugars and you're checking the grams, and that's awesome. I know that you are. And then you're keeping mindful. That's great. I have a hot cereal that I used to make when I was doing maybe more of a low carb breakfast, and I made it. I put it together. I'm going to actually, it's a real simple little recipe, and I'm going to put it in the description bar in case anybody would like to make it. It's got a lot of protein in it, and that's one thing that we have to remember is that we need to concentrate on bringing our lean protein up, especially during this week when we're trying to back away from sugars and keep ourselves from going jonesing and say looking for a big sugar hit, right? So stay on course. Remember, it's only 7 days. You can do this. You still get 25 grams per day, so you can find, save that for things that you really, really want. And I really want to urge you to try to just stick with as many whole foods as you can, because that's going to be the ticket, I think, that keeps us going this week, is that we're going to get natural sugars, we're going to get, whole grains and things like that. We're still going to get carbs, but we're not going, let's get the good carbs, stay away from the processed foods, because the processed foods are the ones that are higher in added sugars, and those are the ones that get us coming back for more. Okay, so I'm going to let you go for now, and I will check in with you guys a little bit later. All right, check out that hot cereal recipe if you want. It's really good. I just add fruit on top of that, and I'm good to go. Well, almost. I also have a side of egg whites. I always have a little bit of egg whites and an egg, or just the egg whites, and then don't forget the healthy fat, maybe a little bit of avocado, right? All right, I'll see you later. All right, I am going to make a dish for dinner. I've got a couple of packages of chicken tenderloins. I'm going to use this slow cooking pulled pork package here, but I'm not going to mix it up according to the directions on the back, because there's a lot more sugars in doing that. So I'm going to do my own little version of it. I'm going to use 1/3 cup of the apple cider vinegar, 1 can of 8 ounces of tomato sauce, and then a 1/4 cup of the sugar-free barbecue sauce. I'm just going to mix it all up, and then I'm going to add it to the chicken and just slow cook it for, I don't know how many, 4 hours probably. And then that's what we're going to have for dinner. We're probably going to have it with some sweet potatoes and asparagus as well. Okay, I'm not adding any sugars. I'm not counting any sugars, because although it says 2 sugars on this can of tomato sauce, I looked in the ingredients and those are natural sugars. So I'm not going to claim any added sugars. So there's no other added sugars, so no sugars for this dish. I just wanted to show you how I'm keeping track, just to make a little fun for me. I was thinking about just writing it down, but I have these 2 little cups here. I've got 25 at the beginning of the day of the 25 pennies in my added sugar count for the day, and as I use them throughout the day, I put one over, I transfer them over into this little cup here, and so that way I have a visual and I can kind of keep it, I can see it, that how I'm using up my sugar account every day, and have a visual, and so I'm hoping, it'd be interesting if I end up having some left over, and maybe at the end of the week I will add those up and see how many I actually, was able to keep. I'm not trying to, go super far below the 25, but that would just be interesting to see. Because so far I've only used 1. And so now lunchtime is my hardest. We'll talk about that in a bit. That is my most challenging time, I think, to look for sugar after lunch. And so we will see what happens then. All right, I just got done cleaning up these loquats. These came from my parents. They grow a lot of fruit, and so I got a ton of these, and I'm going to have to give some away and share them. And I cleaned up some of the Meyer lemons from my dad's trees. These are the best lemons in the world, and I'm going to be sharing these with friends. Okay, while we were out of town, our son Calvin made a delicious chicken and shrimp curry that he left for us in the fridge, and I added some brown rice, and this is what I'm having for lunch. It was absolutely wonderful. Afternoon pick-me-up. I have a cup of unsweetened cashew milk, half of a Joseph's lavash bread, 1 tablespoon of the natural sunflower butter, which cost me 2 pennies because it's 2 grams of sugar that I'm having here, and then this Amish pear butter. I have a tablespoon of that, and it's no sugar added. So it's just pear butter. So anyway, that is what I'm having for a snack, and then I'm going to work out. Right after dinner, I splurged a little bit. I wasn't craving it, but I thought I would have it to see what it was like. I had a square of chocolate. It's 3 points, but it cost me 5 grams of sugar, and so it was 5 pennies for the night. Hey everybody, it is late, and I'm going to say goodnight. There are still people that are joining the challenge, so I thought I'm going to put off reading roll call till tomorrow and give a few more people a chance to join in, and then that way we can just name them all on air and say hi to everybody. So a very good question came up tonight from Suzanne, and I am not going to do justice to your last name, Suzanne. I don't know if you pronounce it Freeze, but in any case, she asked a very good question. I was wondering when this was going to be coming up because this was a topic we were going to be discussing. It's a very good question. Her question was, do we count the total sugars, or do we just count the added sugars when it says added sugars on the label? And it's not a cut and dry answer. Right offhand, I would say just count the added sugars, because that's really what this is about, is counting the added sugars that's listed on the packaging. The problem is that not every package is listing added sugars, even when they are adding the sugars, because companies are not mandated until 2021 to actually have to, separate those and list them. We're very lucky when we run across these, we've been running across a lot of packages where they've separated it, and they'll say sugars, and then beneath that it says added sugars, and then that way we can just count the added sugars as opposed to the natural occurring sugars that come in the product. But not every company is doing that. So in that case, what I'm doing is, and this is a suggestion, so I don't know if you want to do this, but on the safe side for me, what I've decided to do is go down to the ingredients when it doesn't separate the added sugars from the regular natural occurring sugars. Go down to the ingredients and look and see if sugar is listed in some ways as being added to that food. And sugars, most of the time it'll just say sugar, but sometimes they use other words, right? There are other words for sugars, and you can Google the other words for sugars: dextrose, brown rice syrup, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, malted barley juice or syrup or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of the words that end in OSE might be a sugar. So I would definitely look up some other words. Maybe we can go over some of them tomorrow so that you can recognize those. But if it's listed in the ingredients, I'm going ahead and counting whatever's listed. So if it doesn't separate it and it says 7 sugars, then, and I see sugars in the ingredient, I count all that. I count the whole 7 just to be on the safe side. And so something like that you might want to have less of. You might want to do a substitute and have something else instead. At that point, it really becomes, I don't know, you just really have to use your own sensibilities and make your own decision as to whether or not you want that to be the daily splurge, right? So anyway, that's the long answer to that. And I'm sorry, it's not all cut and dry. We have to be like super savvy consumers, and I think in 2021, when everybody has to do this, when the companies do have to list both of them, I think it's going to be much easier to read the labels and go about it. But right now, some of them are, I think, trying to maybe skate a little longer before they have to change their labels. That's another reason to really go for the whole foods, is because we don't have to deal with that when we're dealing with whole foods as much, right? So tonight my husband said, I had some cupcakes that I had made over the weekend. I think I made them on Friday. And he said, well, they're in the other fridge in the garage, and I have not had one today. And he said, well, I think I might have a cupcake. How many grams of sugar is that? And I said, I have absolutely no idea. I threw the box away. At this point, I'm going to have to go searching online, and it's too much hassle to do that, so I don't even want to touch it because it is too much trouble. Now, before this challenge, would I have done that? No, I probably would have went and had half a cupcake or a whole one, or who cares, right? And I would have counted the points, because it's easier to count the points and find out how many sugars are in it, right? And so now I got to do both. So anyway, I'm starting Smartpoints today. That's what I did. So I've been counting all of my Smartpoints on iTrack Bites, and I racked up a pretty good amount of fitness points, activity points, and as much as I'd like to, I just can't even make a dent in those, because I've got like 20 activity points just for today. I think I used maybe 1 or 2 of them. Other than that, I've just kept to the day of points, but I ate all of my points that they gave me today. So doing good. I am not experiencing any kind of withdrawals or anything like that. Although I did find out that it was very clear to me that my time to make sure that I prepare for having some sort of sugary, not really a sugary, something that's going to fulfill that, I want to say, tryptophan, serotonin hit, right? If I'm going to have something sweet, then it's going to be late afternoon. Late afternoon is like the witching hour for me, and that's when it gets me, because today I started jonesing a little bit, and I'm like, oh man, how am I going to get through this? And that's when I came in and I had a snack, and then I worked out, because remember, exercise can also help you get some of that tryptophan in your body and the feel-good serotonin thing happening, and so that's another plus, you know what I mean? Exercising, getting sunlight, and again, high-protein foods. Try to have high protein with your breakfast every single day. That'll help set your day in motion. So anyway, I'm going to let you go for tonight. I love you guys a lot. Thank you for doing this challenge and hanging in there. I want to hear all about how it went for you guys today. Please write it down in the comments. And you guys go ahead and answer each other and help each other on and stuff. I don't have a Facebook page for us to do this because it's only 7 days. But just feel free to encourage each other in the comments and, give any advice in how, you dealt with your grams of sugar today, keeping it under 25. And I will see you tomorrow. Best of luck tomorrow, you guys. We're going to do this. We're going to kick it. All right. See you later.